Hope you have enjoyed our presentation so far. So far, we've heard from Dr. Lisa Bruning, one of our fellow ALS Association employees, as well as iTech Digital. And today we have Michael Cash and Dr. Rachel Levy here from VoiceItt. Thank you guys so much for being here. Just a word of housekeeping for our audience. These presentations are being recorded and they are being played live on Facebook as well as on Zoom. If you missed the live presentation or you think it would be helpful to someone else, you can share the recording on Facebook or send them to our YouTube channel. We will put a link in the chat to the YouTube channel if you want to watch this in the future. If you have a question for Dr. Levy or Michael during the presentation, you can use the Q&A function on Zoom or the comments on Facebook, and we will get those questions to them. We will have time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. And now I have the honor of introducing Dr. Levy.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here and to be presenting VoiceItt voice recognition technology that is accessible to all. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Michael Cash. So let's begin. As I mentioned, I'm joined by my colleague, Michael Cash. Michael is the product specialist at VoiceItt. He was born with cerebral palsy, which affects his fine motor control and speech. While close family, friends, and acquaintances can understand him, Michael required years of speech therapy to help him feel confident to speak with unfamiliar listeners. He has a degree in computing and has worked for Wiz Education, where he sold technology to schools in the UK. Originally, this involved making cold calls to schools. Michael's special interests include finding new ways to interact with technology, skiing, and riding his tricycle. And I'm Dr. Rachel Levy. I hold a doctorate in speech language pathology and am the customer success manager here at VoiceItt. And I'm really glad to be here today to present our technology with you. VoiceItt came on the scene to solve a problem for people with non-standard speech. Currently, individuals with speech impairments who consider themselves verbal speakers but are hard to understand are relegated to using typical AAC technology, which bypasses the human voice. VoiceItt's mission is to celebrate and highlight unique voices so that individuals with non-standard speech can speak for themselves and communicate with other humans and their technology in the first person, and by doing so, gain greater independence and confidence in their lives. Today, we will present we will present our VoiceItt 2 spontaneous speech recognition technology that can be utilized by anyone with non-standard speech who wishes to utilize verbal communication. VoiceItt's goal is to celebrate and encourage verbal communication. Michael will take us on a tour of our VoiceItt 2 spontaneous speech recognition technology. So Michael, take it away. And Michael, you are currently muted. And Michael, your sound is currently muted, so make sure to unmute yourself.
Hello everybody, I'm Michael Cash, the product specialist at VoiceItt. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to share with you VoiceItt's voice recognition technology for people with non-standard speech. I can use this technology on any platform, be it on my computer or on a mobile phone. And it's very useful to write emails on what relates to documents, or even on my phone when I haven't got the coordination to interact with the on-screen keyboard. It's much quicker to dictate what I want to write. Now, once I've written what I require, I can copy the text and paste it into another application on the computer. Or on my phone, or I can share it into another application, either through media or into an email. Users have the ability or they can use it in conjunction with video conferencing tools like Zoom and Teams and the WebEx. At the moment, I'm using the dictation mode, but I can also use it in a speak mode, and then getting actually 1 minute. One, two, three. I can use it in a speak mode. And if I move over to my other VoiceItt app, you should see the dictation coming up on the right. And I can demonstrate now on the left. So, if you ask me a question,
Yeah, Michael, what'd you have for breakfast today?
I it let me turn it on. I had to follow you in a couple things, like a good English.
I had a bar cereal and a cup of tea like a good Englishman.
Now I can do everything but chat. luego tengo su camiseta de Marseille Burger.
Absolutely. What type of music are you looking for? Do you have any Sure, I can order a can of Coke for you. Would you like it delivered to your doorstep or would you like to pick it up at the store?
Delivery.
No problem. I'll place the order for you now. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, thank you. Now in order to say now users need to code at the moment they need to code more hundred residents
Michael, do you mind just splitting your screen again and making sure that we have transcriptions?
as they were. In order to net this out, users need to code 400 residents, and they do this by tapping on your code. Its capacity is too small, and then they can listen back to the recording. Capacity is too, and they can re-record it they want to, and they can skip the right. It's too complicated or not appropriate. What's also good is they can use it and free. They will automatically get to the next phrase they want to. It will automatically listen to them and automatically connect, which is they can't operate the computer with their hands can be helpful. It also speeds up the recording process. We go back to the details. We've also got integration with Microsoft Teams and WebEx. As I said, there is someone having a video conferencing call. It allows other people to see what they're saying. Thank you. I
Thanks, Michael. So we're actually going to take questions at the end. I'm just going to, if you could just release your screen, Michael, then I can proceed to share mine. Thank you. Thanks, Michael, for that informative presentation of our VoiceIt 2 spontaneous speech recognition technology. What's great about this technology is that it can be used on all devices that can open a web browser. Michael even has a little TikTok video showing how he shares his voice to text message and is able to send text messages through WhatsApp or through messages on his phone. That's really handy when dexterity issues arise. And we've since reduced our amount of training required to 400 recordings, whereas when we first launched this in beta a couple months ago, it was 1,000 recordings, and we're now only at 400 recordings. And we hope that by the end of the year, we're actually going to eliminate the need for individual training altogether, which is really going to be momentous. We also have integrations with mainstream video chat software such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and WebEx. Let's actually have a look at the WebEx integration with, of course, Michael as our star. So let's have a look at that.
I have a lot to say. When I introduce myself, you might pay attention to my voice before you pay attention to my words. But at work, my words come alive, empowering me to do more, to express myself, to connect and collaborate effectively with tech that opens my world.
Okay, Michael, the live demo is good to go. I hope you're wearing your lucky socks.
Of course I am, but if something goes wrong, we can always blame the intern.
Hey, I heard that.
And when the magic happens, even I am speechless.
So that's our new WebEx integration, which will enable individuals in the workforce to utilize voice recognition technology for live transcriptions during those video calls. Let's move on to have a look at some of our users. Over the course of the year, while we were in beta and testing our technology, we had the chance to interact with many users who are now actively engaging in our technology. And let's just see what these individuals have to say. First spotlight is on Sarah Ezekiel, who was diagnosed with ALS, I believe, in her 40s. And she is thriving as an eye gaze artist. That is her main mode of communication, though she still does have speech. And here's what she said. I started with hello and it understood me. And that was really encouraging. Sarah is an avid VoiceIt fan, and she uses it when her eye gaze is not next to her and she's using her iPad. So she has it as another form of communication, another tool in her toolbox. And I definitely encourage you to look her up and see her incredible art. It's awe-inspiring. The next user is Claire Haltaway, who is a poet and she writes regularly. However, she has cerebral palsy and has difficulty and with her dexterity. So it's very hard for her to type. So typically she would dictate her messages to her sister, who would write it for her. And she says, if I want to be more independent with my writing and poetry, this app is ideal. She uses this pretty much to write her poetry, and she's really enjoying it. The next individual is Dr. Claire Malone, who's a particle physicist also in the UK. She's also an inclusion consultant, and let's just see what she has to say about our technology.
This technology gives me freedom to write emails whenever I want without needing more assistance available to help. This
Sorry about that.
technology
So Claire is actually using VoiceIt to write her sci-fi novel, whereas originally, anytime she was writing anything with regards to her studies or with regards to her work, she actually utilizes a personal assistant to write for her. And now she can become more independent in her writing. Let's have a look at our pioneer underage user. So Esri is actually our first child user. He's 7 years old. And VoiceIt to technology is accessible to anyone of all ages and accents. So let's just have a look at Esri and his family.
My son's heroes skid across ice as he cheers from his wheelchair.
He'll talk your ears off about his champions that take over the rink. He wants you to get all the details, but he isn't always understood. His excitement is clear, but his speech is not.
And the ones this, and then they are that and this.
But with VoiceIt, his words come alive. And in that moment, his physical limitations come second to his love for the game. When he explores the world with technologies that don't see limitations, but possibilities.
Play We Are the Champions by Queen.
He's not an 8-year-old who's unlikely to skate under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. He's the one I know. The one who's sometimes nervous or apprehensive.
While also curious about the world with so much to say and share.
And although his voice sounds different than others, it is his own.
Hi, Esri.
I
What'd you do today?
was thinking on
Did you score any goals?
He's not the Rangers fan with cerebral palsy. He's a kid drawn to the art and energy of the game. Cheering on his favorite team with his dad. Hey! 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 And one day, he'll know.
This is the stuff champions are made of.
And we also have Sandy and John, who have what to say about VoiceIt. Let's see.
using VoiceIt.
I am using VoiceIt. He's slowing down because he has confidence people are going to listen to him and understand. It's just changing the whole dynamics of how he's speaking. To have this in the world and not have people know about it or feel that they can succeed using it. This is life-changing.
I am using
So let's discuss who is best suited to using our VoiceIt 2 web application. So individuals who speak in short phrases and have expressive language, they have intentional language in that they would like to, that they say what they intend to, that their pronunciation is consistent. And we'll talk a little bit about progressive disorders in that VoiceIt does continue to learn the patterns of an individual's speech as long as they keep using it. So for example, if someone were to train VoiceIt initially and their voice were to change over time, if that individual were to keep using VoiceIt, VoiceIt will adapt to that person's voice and continue to understand that individual as the voice changes. With regard to severity, the application is best suited for mild to moderate speech impairment. So what that means is that essentially if an individual is understood by their close family or caregivers, then VoiceIt is the right fit for them, meaning VoiceIt can also be trained to understand that individual. The VoiceIt web application does require constant internet access. And again, it is accessible on all devices. It is accessible to all ages of individuals. Individuals under the age of 13 require parental consent to be able to use VoiceIt. And just recently, we launched our partnership with Raz Mobility, who is reselling our technology. And the information, all that information can be found on the Raz Mobility site, which is razmobility.com. And they are selling 1-year subscriptions at a discount, as well as monthly subscriptions. That being said, anyone who would like to try VoiceIt for free will have a 1-month free trial to be able to train and use VoiceIt to see if that's something that they'd like to purchase for themselves or have an organization purchase it for them. With regards to accessibility, it does require handling. That means it does require the click of a button, but it is switch accessible. So any switch that can be attached to your computer or iPad can also be used to access VoiceIt. And currently, the VoiceIt web application is only available in English. We are working on developing the spontaneous speech recognition technology in other languages. The next language that we're working on is actually Spanish, so we hope to embark on that soon. So we hope that, with more further development, we'll be able to expand to more languages. And I will leave you with this Happy New Year message. I know it's never too late to wish anyone a Happy New Year, even at the end or nearing the end of 2023. These are our original ambassadors, our beta testers, anyone who has experienced VoiceIt and had what to say about it. So let's have a look. Enjoy.
Happy New Year to all.
Which is the year of fluent communication.
Wishing you a year
of accessibility.
of accessibility.
Wishing you all a year filled with poetry and creativity.
Wishing you all a year filled with poetry and creativity.
Wishing you a year of goodwill.
Wishing you a year of goodwill.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
And I'm happy to open up the floor to questions. I can have a look at the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Rachel and Michael, for that presentation. As she said, if you have a question, you can submit it through the Q&A function on Zoom or in the comments on Facebook. And I will start us off. So I know we mentioned that Michael has used VoiceIt with his text messages. So can VoiceIt be used for like a virtual assistant or smart home technology to interact with those kind of systems?
Sure. It certainly can. Michael, if you, why don't you turn on share your screen so that you can also participate in the Q&A and people can see your transcriptions. So while he does that, I'm gonna go ahead and answer this first question. Essentially, you can use VoiceIt to control your smart assistants. You would use VoiceIt in speak mode because speak mode automatically replays your voice aloud. So essentially what an individual would do is they would give their command through speak mode, and then it would trigger their device. So Michael, do you want to demonstrate, let's say like a Alexa or a Hey Google, turn on the light or something like that in speak mode? If you just go to speak mode, you can just show them how it replays your voice. Yeah, just make sure you have sound shared.
So dictate mode will just write what you're saying, and speak
Yeah.
mode.
Exactly. Speak mode replays it aloud in an automated voice.
Alexa, what's the weather?
Alexa, what's the weather?
And that would play aloud and then feed into the input microphone of the device you're trying to control or communicate with.
Okay, so you could theoretically use speak mode to dictate text messages or interact with Siri.
Yeah.
It's better to use dictate mode to dictate text messages. If you're interacting with a smart home device, then it's better to utilize speak mode. So dictate mode for text messages, emails, social media posts, speak mode for controlling or communicating with smart assistants.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Let's see. I don't see any questions right now. Give everybody a couple more seconds to put in a question. But if they think of a question later, what's the best way for an individual to contact VoiceIt?
Sure.
You guys.
So if they have a question for us specifically, we suggest they reach out to, I'm going to put this in the chat. Oh, is there a chat? No. Okay, here we go. I could put it in support@voiceit.com, or they can reach out to Raz support at, sorry, I'm just going to get that
Just make sure
correctly
you're
now.
sharing that with everyone.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Yes, let me do that. I don't have the ability to share with everybody.
Okay.
Let's
see.
But the best way for individuals who would like to utilize this product and have questions about the product is either through that email or to enter onto the razmobility.com website. So I'm going to put it here for you to copy and paste for everyone.
Okay.
And that's razmobility.com, where you can find out more about our application. You can also contact them for support, as well as to find out how to get a trial, the 1 month trial, as well as to purchase the application. Okay, so we have a question here from Sean. Sean is asking if it's a PC application. Michael, you want to answer that?
Yeah. The application can be on any technology, not just PC. It could be your Android phone or your iPhone or a Mac or laptop or computer. Any device that has internet access.
Great, thanks, Michael. And the other question that just came in was, do you have to text or type in this device? Mom doesn't have good use of her hands. So do you want to answer that? If you can clear your text and then answer that, that would be great.
There are some things you need to click on, but the more we're developing, the more we're making voice accuracy. And as you can see at the top, we have now got a number of voice control, and you can deepen with your voice as well. You need to click at the moment to activate listening, but we are planning to open in the next month. You will be able to activate it with your voice.
Yeah, which means that essentially there's no typing required. At the moment, it's just some clicking. And eventually we're going to be moving to a hands-free model once the app is open, because we'll be able to utilize voice controls rather than clicking. Any other questions?
We did have a question about the cost of
Sure.
VoiceItt. I know you mentioned it's on Raz Mobility and they have a free trial. Do you have an idea of the cost after that?
Sure. So for the year, it would cost $4.99, or if you wanted a monthly subscription, it is, I believe, $49.99 per month.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you both so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge about this app. And thank you to all of our attendees for being here. If you have further questions, you can reach out to the email provided in the chat, support@voiceit.com, I believe. Yes, support@voiceit.com. I hope you guys will join us for the rest of Assistive Technology Week. We'll be at 11 a.m. on Thursday and Friday. We have 2 different presenters coming. If you would like to share this presentation with someone, you can share the recording on YouTube once it's posted, or they can go back and watch the Facebook. This will also be replayed on Zoom at 3 p.m. if they just missed it but wanted to see it today. And thank you again, everyone, for attending, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.